How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Today, I want to talk to you very openly and honestly about the crypto market and about the market in general. And I want to talk to you about some exchanges. There are some pieces of news on Celsius, Blockfi, Voyager, a massive hack. And I want to talk about why you have to be careful right now and seriously what I am doing exactly with my cryptos. Now, if you don't mind hitting the like button and subscribe button, I really do appreciate that. It helps out the channel. If you've watched these videos before and you've liked them, hit the subscribe button so you can see future videos and turn on the bell notification so you know right when I post a video. Now, there's also a link to a variety of different exchanges underneath the video. If you want to try any of them out, that also helps. Or if you just want to know what I'm buying and selling, you can check out the link underneath the video to the Patreon. So, the cryptocurrency market is up 4.4% on the last 24 hours, a great jump. Obviously, Ethereum is up 10%, and this is after it's been beaten down really hard. Bitcoin has been kind of sticking around the same level while Ethereum fell underneath 1,000, and it's definitely been a rough go for everyone invested in crypto recently, but we have seen a little bit of relief this week. Now, a lot of people think that this is just kind of a dead cat bounce or that we're heading lower, which it's always possible, but don't forget that while Bitcoin really has been unchanged over the last 7 days. It's actually been a great week for the stock market. The Nasdaq's up 2.4% today, and over the last week, it's actually up 7.34%. So we had a terrible week last week, one of the worst weeks that I've seen in a very long time, but we came back and we're actually higher than we were a month ago, pretty significantly. When we look, we're really back to where we were in April, which is not fantastic because we've still come down a lot, but it is getting better out there. Now, in cryptocurrency, we're still seeing lots of liquidations pouring in, but we're actually seeing more shorts being liquidated over the last few days than longs. Now, this will get people to get a little bit greedy. Bitcoin will probably go up back to 22,000, 23,000. People will get greedy, and then we'll have long liquidations, and it's just this back and forth game until we actually make a significant move. Now, whales are accumulating now. Medium-sized to larger-sized wallets, not so much, but we have typically seen that this is a good time to be accumulating under this 200-week moving average. And a lot of people said that they really wish they could get cheap Bitcoin here, 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 here. And now we're finally getting that cheap Bitcoin, especially when you think that over time, Bitcoin becomes more valuable because there's more distribution, there's more of a need for it over time. And that just means that getting it here at 20,000 or 21,000 is a much better value than getting it back here around 20 to 21,000 a couple of years ago. Now, we do have a couple things working against us. I'd say a handful of things, right? From inflation, the Fed, war, Luna, 3AC, regulation looming, collapses in USDT, recession, housing fears, stock collapse, layoffs, all this kind of stuff. We have a lot of fears out there, but I think we're through the worst of it, and CZ does too, and maybe not that we've hit our lowest point on Bitcoin. A lot of people think we're going to go for a double bottom, maybe go back under and hit maybe 16, 17. Some people are saying 14, 15. The fact is, though, that the worst part of the capitulation is over. I think, personally, right? I mean, think about all the crazy things that have happened and how much fear has really been in the market. And CZ says the worst is probably over. When we look at some of the crazy things that have happened, from Luna and UST collapsing, flushing out $50 to $60 billion, to Celsius possibly going bankrupt. It sounds like they're getting ready to go bankrupt. This is just coming from the Wall Street Journal here today. They are on the brink of bankruptcy, preparing for an upcoming filing by hiring more advisors. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean you lost all your crypto if they go bankrupt. I believe they have to start liquidating their assets and then pushing it out to different people. So it's not necessarily a fully lost cause, but this has been terrible, right? A very centralized entity that you would think would be more careful now is going bankrupt as well. But this is what happens in a bear market. This is what happens when people get too greedy. There's just a flushing out, and people get wiped out if they're not being careful enough, like Celsius was not careful enough. Now, what I found interesting, because I work with some of these types of companies, right? I've never worked with Celsius before. I've worked with Blockfi. I still work with Blockfi. There are links to Blockfi underneath the video. They just secured a a credit line, I believe it was, or a loan from FTX. It was actually Alameda Research, but it's all tied to FTX. And they just updated their BlockFi interest account rates. Now, I have not talked to them about this. I don't know why exactly they've done this from their side, besides what they say here. Now, I'm going to tell you my thoughts on this as well. You can see they're actually increasing their rates, which to a lot of people might be confusing after they just had to take a loan and they've been trying to raise capital, it sounds like. They're actually increasing and paying more out. New APYs, higher APYs. So instead of 0.1% on your Bitcoin, let's say you have 10 Bitcoin, now you get 2%. That's pretty significant if you have a large amount. And then Ethereum, same thing, going up to 2% if you have over 5. You can have multi-millions of dollars worth of stablecoin, and you can get 6% now. So a lot of people are worried about this, I'm sure, as well, because they're thinking, does this mean that they're more likely to go bankrupt or something like that? Now, they've also laid off some employees, which is interesting at the same time that they're doing all this. Now, I think what they're doing here, and again, I haven't talked to them, I haven't asked them, I have not conferred with them at all. I think what they're doing here is they know that they can't bring more clients in because they froze these types of accounts. And I think what they're trying to do is stopping clients from leaving, because that is a part of their business, is loaning this out to other clients. And I think what they're worried about is with Celsius and with Voyager, there's a lot of fear with any kind of interest account. And I'm assuming they've seen people pull money out and you can't put more money in. So I'm guessing now they have less to work with clients, but that means that they can pay a higher amount as well, right? If they have $1 million, let's say, of deposits and clients only want $500,000 worth and they'll pay interest on that, but then all of a sudden they have $500,000 worth and then clients want $500,000 worth, well, they can pay all those rewards to the people that have their money in, as opposed to having a lot just sitting there not doing anything, and then they still have to pay rewards to everyone else. So they've gone probably a little bit leaner in these accounts, which means that they can pay a higher interest rate. And now they say that this is because of effective risk management, decreasing market competition, and changing macro environment. So this is kind of interesting. Also, probably because of the fact that everyone is increasing their rates, so they can do something similar, right? Just the cost of borrowing money has gone up as well. So I find this pretty interesting that they're doing this. And they've always done this. They've gone higher, they've gone lower. They do change with market conditions, and they did liquidate Three Arrows Capital because they actually had collateral, unlike Voyager. So I just wanted to cover this because they are a partner of the channel. Like I said, I find this really interesting that they are going out and kind of doing the opposite of what most companies would do and most people would think Blockfi would do at a time like this. So they are trying to bring back their interest accounts. I know that that's something that they really were proud of and that they're getting a lot of clients for. So they are trying to work that out with SEC, hopefully by the end of the year. Now, Voyager also came out with some news, and I wanted to give you my update on this because I do have money on Voyager still. I sold a lot of my crypto. I withdrew a lot of my crypto as well when I heard about some of the concerns over Voyager and Three Arrows Capital. This was before it was announced. I kind of saw the writing on the wall and I started to withdraw, I started to sell, and I got a significant amount out of Voyager. But I wanted to bring up that they had lowered the withdrawal limit to $10,000, but also I've noticed the withdrawal time has gone up. So maybe 2 weeks ago, I withdrew some money and it was available, I believe it was in 3 business days. Now it's been 4 or 5 business days since I did my last withdrawal and I haven't seen it. So even though they're lowering the withdrawals, I think they are delaying a little bit how long it takes to withdraw money, which is a concern as well. But they did get that large credit line from FTX, so I think it'll be fine. But they say that it can take 5 to 10 business days. In the past, it never took 5 business days. Now, I think they're trying to spread that out. So it will be interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if Voyager got bought out by FTX, especially because they're so cheap. They're under $100 million in market cap right now. If we actually pull them up, right, they have a significant amount of assets. They had millions of clients, and they're around $120 million market cap. They've actually come up a little bit since their low a few days ago when they hit like 40 cents or something like that. But they were worth at the peak $20 to $30, right? So this was a very expensive company compared to now. It's gone down 98%. So I would not be surprised if FTX tried to buy them out for basically pennies on the dollar of what they were worth a year and a half ago. They were growing like a weed also. So if FTX bought them out, I think they might have to work on the regulatory side, because right now they're a Canadian company. They can still pay interest rates, or they still are. I'm not sure if they would be able to if FTX bought them, or what they would do there. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this. But FTX offered them $250 million, and they could have bought their whole company for that. Maybe they think that they should do that as well, just to stop the spread of contagion and the fear and selling off of assets and all that kind of thing. Maybe they're just trying to stop the bleeding and offering loans to, or lines of credit to, Voyager and Blockfi, just to protect their own assets, because they are worth so much more. But it would hurt them a lot if someone as small as Voyager went down. Still, it would hurt them a lot. So maybe they're giving that loan out just to stop the bleeding for their own company. But I've got to think that if they're giving $250 million, that they think Voyager can get through this, right? I would not be loaning someone $250 million if I thought they were going to go bankrupt. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens after all this settles down. But this has been a crazy couple of weeks. Now, the craziness is not stopping here. There's been a big hack here today that I want to talk about, $100 million hack. But before we do, I do want to talk about these accounts real quick. So this is kind of my thought process. And I've had some people ask me, like, how can you still talk about Blockfi? How can you talk about FTX? How can you talk about anything anymore besides cold storage? Now, I've said several times, and I've had some really nice people in the comments section say, hey, let us know what cold storage device you're going to actually get and use, because we want to do that as well. And I've gotten some people that said, oh, you didn't get a ledger. I've heard all that I need to know. I'm not going to watch your videos anymore. There are two different hardware wallets that I am really considering: the Ledger and the Treasure. Those are by far the two best wallets. I've tried other wallets as well, but those are, I think, the most secure. I have a Ledger, but I am having a technical issue. I'm trying to talk with the people that work there. I've been kind of thrown around a bit, so it hasn't worked out perfect so far, but I am also trying to get in contact with Treasure as well to try out their cold storage device. I might just buy one anyways, but I was going to see if I could reach out and talk to the team first. So I am still trying to decide there. I still have a good portion of my assets on exchanges. I mean, that's just how it is. I have a lot on Blockfi. I have some on Blockfi, I should say. I haven't really taken any money off Blockfi. I haven't over the last year or so. I have more on Binance, and then I have more on FTX as well. So I really do have a lot on those couple exchanges. And then I have been taking money off of some of the smaller exchanges. I'm still testing out small exchanges with small amounts of money. I'm actually going to do a review on an exchange here in a week or so. I still think that a lot of the exchanges will be fine. The good exchanges will probably grow, and you won't see that because all the assets are losing value and not too many people are investing, but they'll gain more clients, and as a lot of the other companies just die off, they'll get more clients over time as well. They'll get the clients of like Celsius and Voyager. More will flock to the bigger companies. So I just think that's how it is. So I am testing out some smaller exchanges because I realize that we're going to get through this, and I just want to have a better feel for some of these other exchanges, kind of on the fringe. But I'm not doing anything that's super risky. I mean, you can say what you want about the risk levels of different platforms, but I don't think that they're super risky with the amount of money that I'm putting in. I mean, it's not even a 0.5% in some of the really small exchanges that I'm testing out, but then I do have more on some of the big exchanges that I think have a lot of money on the sidelines. Now, I just wanted to give you that update. I know that's not the sexiest thing to talk about or anything, but I think it is valuable, and it's something that I would talk about with a friend or something if they had money on these exchanges. Just keep that in mind. You never want to put more on an exchange than you can afford to lose as well, but also there are risks with cold storage as well, depending on what kind of investor you are and how good you are with keeping track of things. Now, let's move on. We have news of Harmony's Horizon bridge hacked for $100 million. The layer 1 blockchain's main bridge between Ethereum, Binance Chain, and Bitcoin has been exploited for 9 figures, but says its Bitcoin bridge has not been affected. So this just happened this morning. Within 18 minutes, 11 transactions were made from the bridge for various tokens. They have since been sending tokens to a different wallet to swap for ETH on the Uniswap DEX, then sending the ETH back to the original wallet. They've been hacked for $100 million now. Vitalik Buterin talked about the risks of these different kinds of bridges in the past. It's going to be interesting to see what happens after this. Harmony is a big cryptocurrency, and actually they have been hurt pretty bad from this news. They're down 6% on the day, with a lot of other cryptocurrencies moving up, but these other cryptos haven't really been affected besides Harmony, the ones that were in that hack. Now, like I said, overall, pretty good day in the market, really good day in the stock market, and a really good week in the stock market, especially depending on what stocks you're in. A great day in cryptocurrency as well, with Ethereum up 10%, Solana was up 8%. Definitely a good day overall in the market. And like I said, I think that the worst is over. Not necessarily that we've been at the lowest price, but again, we've seen the worst amount of fear in the shortest amount of time. I mean, heck, let's look at this real quick. Where was Bitcoin a month ago? 1, 2, 3, 4. Bitcoin was around 30,000, and we were bouncing off previous lows from a year ago, right? We fell 40% within a few weeks. We had massive liquidations. This is after the Luna collapse as well, but then we have centralized exchanges. We have hedge funds, multi-billion dollars on each, just being liquidated, selling off assets, and going bankrupt. So, I mean, we can always get worse from here, right? There can be more liquidations, more stuff that comes out, but I've got to think that this is the most fear that we've gone through in the shortest amount of time. We were at $48,000 just a few months ago. This has been historically a great time to be picking up. Of course, you have to know that you're taking on risk. All right, we always are taking on risk when we invest, and cryptocurrency is more risky than investing in stocks or bonds or real estate. But I think it still has a lot of upside depending on what you buy and when. So let me know your thoughts on this underneath in the comment section. Thank you so much. Sorry this was a little bit of a longer video today, but I want to give you my honest, open thoughts. And depending on where your cryptocurrency is, it is in danger. So you have to take precautions, and you have to be thoughtful with what you're doing with it and where you're putting it, how you're sending it, all that kind of stuff. Just be careful out there. This is not just going and buying a stock and putting it on some exchange that's got insurance on it. Everything is on the table in cryptocurrency. Anything can happen. Let's turn this weekly candle around and turn in the green for the first week in a couple weeks. And with the exception of this week, for the first week in like 12 weeks, 13 weeks. Let's do it. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Check out the links underneath the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.